You're listening to the Cricket Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Cricket Podcast, where we're going to be talking about the SA20. Max and I have had a look at the stats. We've done a data deep dive on all 6 teams in this new franchise competition, and we're going to be telling you what you need to know to enjoy the tournament. It'll be like a mini preview. It's not going to be like one of those mad previews we do for the World Cup or
the IPL.
It's going to be it's an opportunity for us to talk about wine. I mean, you think I'm joking, but I've got a lot of notes on pinotage.
Okay.
Before we get into that, just a reminder that you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at The Cricket Pod. You should like and subscribe to this video or the podcast wherever you're reading it. And if you are interested in supporting us, sign up as a Patreon. Patreon.com/TheCricketPod. Patreon.com/TheCricketPod. Where you can get exclusive shows, which at the moment are me going through Cricket 2.0, looking at the predictions they made back in 2019 on T20 cricket and seeing what happened and what did not happen. So if you like cricket nerd stuff, that's quite a fun series that I'm putting out on a weekly/twice weekly basis at the moment. And you get involved, chat to us on Discord and a few other bits. It's good, isn't it, Max?
It's good. That's actually it's an interesting idea. You've done well.
Thank you. Yeah, what are you going to do?
Well, if you invite me along, I'll come and talk to you about it at one point.
No. I want solo. It's solo activities only.
Is that what the Patreons
Max,
want? That's the question.
Well, I don't know. I mean, we'll see. We'll see how many people sign up.
I can do more novelty songs if you like. That can be my offer.
That would be good. Do a novelty song a week.
I've done about a week.
Right. The SA20, Max. So I think there's a few things we want to talk about here. We want to talk about all 6 franchises or teams.
Mm-hmm.
Are they franchises? I guess they are franchises.
I
don't really like the word franchise. I think.
You can call them IPL teams.
We can, IPL teams. So I think it's because of MK Dons. But I don't like
franchise. Yeah, they are the franchise.
It's obviously as a Wimbledon fan. Yeah, I've got an issue with that. We've got that, and we've got rules chat. So do you want to talk about the teams, or do you want to do rules chat?
Should we do rules chat? Because it might be vaguely relevant to team makeup.
Cool. That sounds like a good idea. So as part of this tournament, there are a number. I think there are like 4 main rules differences versus standard or traditional T20 cricket. The playing conditions were released earlier this week. And I might as well just read out the pertinent points. Does that sound good? We don't read out enough stuff just to prove that we can read. So here it is. These are from the playing conditions, and I think they are actually quite interesting to talk about. It's not just like dumb stuff. Some of these will have quite a significant impact on the match, and I think we might see them come into other leagues. So it's not, I fucking find rules conversations so boring. Generally speaking,
but this is more than that, isn't it? This is about the direction of T20 cricket.
Twats who talk about VAR on football, just shut up. It shouldn't. Yeah, this is more about the direction of cricket. So these are the different things in the SA20. I quote: "In an innovative move to level the playing field, each captain can nominate 13 players to take the field before the toss. After the toss, each captain can select their final starting 11, and the remainder of the players automatically become subs." Max, I'm not going to read them all. We might as well talk about them one at a time. 13-a-side cricket. That's what that sounds like to me.
Plug the gaps.
Have I missed the boat on this, or is that actually what this means?
I don't think it's entirely clear with the way it's worded. I think basically it just means rather than name your 11 before the toss, you get to name your 11 after the toss out of 13, which, and I think, as far as I can tell, that's all there is to it. I've not seen anything about super subs or impact players or any of that stuff that you have in the Big Bash or is going to be coming to the IPL, although I imagine it will definitely go that way next time if it's successful in the IPL. But I like it. I like the idea of being able to I guess, pick 13 players, see what the pitch looks like at the toss, see whether you win or lose the toss, and see what the other team are doing, and pick your team based on that. I think it adds an extra element of tactical thinking, and I'm broadly in favour. I think it's a nice bit of innovation.
Cool. Right. So if that is what it is, I actually don't mind that. I agree.
Yeah.
I think you should name the team after the toss, like naming the team before the toss is done.
Yeah.
Because the game's fundamentally transformed. But
Yeah.
whether you battle bowl first, it might help. It says to level the playing field. I think it would be interesting to see what
they mean
happens
by that. Yeah.
Yeah, but it might help the team bowling second, particularly. Yeah, that isn't something you actually really need to do in most conditions in the world, but in
Dew and things like
Asia,
that.
because of dew, it does sometimes make a difference. No, it does not sometimes. It does make a difference. So it might help with that. I guess I know you play an extra spinner or something like that. I don't exactly know how what tactic will level the playing field, but I kind of agree with the idea of calling your 11 as close to the toss as possible. I was interested in the idea of the substitutes though, and I actually really hate substitutes as an idea or as an introduction to cricket, because I contrary to I think what people hope will be what happens, i.e. that there's loads of tactical innovations and we see more best v best cricket. I think everyone will just use substitutes more or less the same way. And basically to extend their batting order, you'll see
to get an extra bowler in if it's the other way around.
Well,
if you're defending a total.
Right, no, so well, yeah, no, exactly. But so when I first read that rule, what I thought they meant was that you named 13 players, and then you got to name your starting 11 with 2 substitutes, like literally subs who can come into the game whenever you want. In which case, if you're batting first, the 11 you name has loads of batters in, and then you bring in 2 bowlers at half time.
No,
the other way around, the 11 you name.
I think it's just that they're the sub fielders, like when you've got the 12.
Yeah.
As far as I can tell. But I'm with you on subs in general as a point. The other thing I don't like about subs is it's kind of a get out clause for teams that have not thought through their team building or auction strategy properly. It's basically just okay, well, we fucked it, but it's okay because we don't need to play an all-rounder. We can just swap out this player for someone who can do the job we need them to do. And it basically is it's beneficial to teams that don't think properly. And I don't like that.
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. And I think the other thing that it would do is create a less nuanced game in terms of selection, in terms of strategy that teams use when it comes to trying to win. Like, if you have a decision, for example, between picking a better bowler at number 7 or a better batter, that fundamentally changes what your team strategy will be, how your other players will have to play, and what the identity of your team will be. If you can just bring in 2 extra batters and swap them out for 2 extra bowlers, well, then everybody in the league bats down to 8 as a minimum, and everybody's going to have 5 frontline bowlers. And I actually don't think sport is always at its best when you just see the best players for their role play against each other. I think sometimes a mismatch or the potential for a mismatch creates interesting circumstances.
Yeah.
And a better game overall. So, that's rule 1, which isn't substitutes. We've managed to talk about substitutes for ages. Rule number 2, teams will be encouraged to put in dominant performances, with the winning team awarded 4 teams and a bonus point generating 5 points. The bonus point will be awarded to teams who achieve a run rate of 1.25 times that of their opposition. In case of a no result, both teams will be awarded 2 points, while the losing team will not receive any points. I'm going to give that a solid 8 or 9 out of 10. I think it solves the problem of net run rate being absolutely impenetrable, even if you really like cricket and you actually follow these things. Like it's virtually impossible. On the last day of the IPL, people have got 4 different scores that like a team needs to win by.
The idea that you can win a game and your net run rate will go down is always one that people find confusing, isn't it?
It's just stupid. I think 1.25 is a reasonable. It's what does that a run rate of? So
200 plays 150, you get a bonus point.
Yeah, so you have to give him a smackdown basically. And I think that's a reasonable incentive, and it's a reasonable amount of runs to win by, and it's a reasonable reward
Yeah.
to give out if you do smack someone. Might be a bit much. I'd maybe made it 1.2 or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's
or
obviously completely arbitrary, isn't it? But
yeah, of course. But like, I made it a little bit more attainable.
yeah, it would be interesting
But,
to go back to like some of the old IPL seasons and look at
Have a look,
that rule
yeah.
and what difference it
Might
would
have
have
done,
made.
yeah. But I think anything that makes the game simpler, which this does from a league table point of view, is good. And
Yeah.
I'm
It
fine with
incentivizes
that.
the right sort of thing.
Exactly. And it's better than the bash boost, which is what they tried in Australia, which was
Yes.
a point at the halfway stage.
Yeah.
Like that didn't make any sense because, like, you know, that's like giving teams a point in the Premier League for winning at half time.
Yeah.
Like,
or
and what?
winning the second half when you're 5-0 down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. In addition, the following rules have been adjusted. The pace of play will be protected. So they're going to do over rates. Don't need to talk about that.
Fine.
Second, there has been an amendment to the free hit rule. A bold dismissal can't lead to buys if the ball ricochets off the stumps. So if you're bold, you don't get any runs. I like that as well. You don't like that?
I don't like that. But the only reason I don't like that, Jack, is because one of my favourite cricketing stories of all time is the one that Ross and you like to tell about the time where you played in the Cup against that team that brought along a bloke from the IPL.
Yeah.
And
literally brought a guy from the IPL.
Yeah. And obviously they racked up about 300 and there was no point in playing. But Ross left a free hit and got bowled and it went for 4. And they were like, why'd you leave it? It was like, went for 4, didn't it?
Right. So I would say, we're going to add a complex rule then. If you leave the ball and you're bowled,
so it's like the opposite of you don't get leg buys if you don't offer a shot. You only get the 4 buys if you don't offer a shot.
Yeah,
there
exactly.
we go. Caveated.
I know. I think if you're bowled, the ball should be dead. And like ball, if the ball ricochets off the stumps and goes for 4, like there's no skill from the batsman who's involved there. It's already you already get to hit the ball for free. Like, what more do you want?
Yeah, I think that.
Come on.
That's fair.
Isn't the ball technically dead as well if you're out caught off a free hit?
You can be run out.
Yeah, I know you can be run out.
So the ball can't be dead, I guess.
Wasn't there a thing with Rabada against Ireland where he was out caught, or that might have been just off a regular no ball, and he was out caught, and then it turned out it was a no ball, but Ireland ran him out, and the ball should have been dead when he was caught.
Right, because the wicket was given. Yes.
No, not because the wicket was given.
No.
It just I don't know. Some cricket rule. Cricket rules are dumb, aren't they?
I'm pretty sure
that should just be.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you can be run. Yeah, I know you can be run out, but apparently it was dead. I don't know.
Okay. Well, yeah. Cricket.
Good
old cricket.
Positive and attacking. I love this rule. Positive and attacking fielding will be encouraged. No runs can be taken off an intentional attempt to run out the batter if the direct hit deflects off the stumps. I think direct hits are one of the best things in cricket, and you should encourage as many throws at the stumps as possible.
Yeah. I think the side effect of that is that you're probably going to get more overthrows, which is fine. I'm totally on board with that.
Also fantastic. Yeah, also fantastic.
If it bounces off the batter and goes for runs, goes for 4, a la Ben Stokes. Does that count as well?
I thought they changed that. I thought that was now a dead ball. Because it did have a minor impact on the outcome of that particular match.
Just a small one. Just a small impact.
But yeah, no, I think that's good. I think particularly live, actually, if you're watching the game, aggressive fielding it's super athletic. It's exciting because the ball's flying all over the place. It extends the possibility.
Stops you nodding off, doesn't it, in the middle overs?
It extends the possibility of a wicket for a little bit longer. So it does. It means the action, I suppose, is elongated. Good. I think that's actually a really positive rule.
Yeah,
it won't make a massive difference. In fact, probably make barely any difference to the amount of times they shy at the stumps. They do it anyway. It'll probably just mean that a couple of runs here and there aren't taken. But reward exciting things. Don't discourage them.
So I think a lot of it seems like common sense, really, doesn't it? Which is good.
We quite like the rules overall.
Never thought I'd be
good rules.
Hearing myself say that about random rules brought into T20 leagues, but well done.
Cool.
on
Right,
there.
Max, we need to get on with talking about the teams.
We do.
We're going to pick a random team each. We're going to start. We're not going to. Oh, we're going to do the big boys a bit later. I was going to say we're going to start with the big boys. We're going to start with Durban.
All right.
Durban. I should say for this actually, we paid for and are relying on the packs, the data packs produced by the guy. His name I forget. I remember this. I'll do my bit and then I'll look it up. They're really good and they're $5 or $8 depending on which ones you buy. And you get loads of information about the players, which phases of the game they're good in, different bowling styles. And it has made preparation for this show so much better and enriched, I would say, Max, our understanding of the SA20.
It's got stadium info as well, which is always useful.
Stadium info is really hard to source yourself.
Yeah.
It's all out there, but it's fucking tedious to go through it. So that by itself is worth $10, I think. Right, Durban Super Giants. They are coached by Lance Klusner. They will be playing at a venue called Kings Mead. Here's what you need to know about Durban. We like to do a little facts, don't we? I want to take you to Durban. For most of the teams, we wanted to talk about wine, but Durban, not a particularly popular area for wine, it appears, on the eastern side of South Africa. They do have something called Bunny Chow, though, Max. Have you heard of this?
No, I have not.
Bunny Chow is a hollowed out loaf of white bread with a curry inside it.
Oh, that sounds good.
It sounds good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I've been having a look at a few pictures.
Sounds great.
It's like some kind of fusion pasty. I really like that. So if you're ever in Durban, get yourself some Bunny Chow, and wash it down with some wine from somewhere else in the country, and we'll give you some tips as the lovers of fine wine that we are. When we come to some of the other teams, the first thing you need to know about the team, Max, is that their kit is fucking awful.
Is it? Is it the same as LSG?
Can you Google it quickly? Because it is, I would say, the worst sports kit I have ever seen.
Ever?
Like, yeah. I mean, I am
ever.
Yeah,
that's bold.
It's the trousers. I think it's the trousers in particular. They've got like red and green chevrons on. It's a travesty. It's an absolute fucking travesty of a kit. It looks like Ali G with a different color palette. That's the best way to describe it. It's completely it's whack. It's whack. Their side, the cricket team, it's okay. If you follow like what I'd call second tier franchise leagues around the world, it's sort of one of those. You've got some good internationals: Reece Topley, Quinton de Kock, Jason Holder, Maharaj, Pretorius. Guys will be in the IPL. Guys who are frontline players for their international squad. That will up the quality, and then you've got some guys that don't exactly thrill, but are basically competent. So thinking Heinrich Klaassen, Kyle Mayers, Johnson Charles, and then a few other guys domestically who I'm not majorly in love with, but will make up the numbers. They're not a disgrace. They will.
Sorry, kit update. Yeah, those trousers are heinous. It looks like it's like a 1990s ski outfit. It's really weird.
Yes, yeah. Having said that, that's exactly what it is. Sorry, 1990 ski outfit. It looks exactly like one of those things. It's what the fuck is going on there? Who looked at that and thought, I want to take the slopes to Kingsmead?
Big fan of Ski Sunday, that's who.
Anyway,
back to the team.
What I was going to say is they put together this sort of classic second tier franchise squad. However, I think it actually projects to be one of the worst in the league. I think because it's 6 teams, because there's 4 overseas, because South Africa's has a relatively decent talent pool, I think they're going to be in trouble. I would be surprised if we see them featuring near the playoffs. One of the big reasons why I think this will be a problem for them this year is that they are playing on the most spin-friendly pitch in the league, and they don't really have any good spinners. They actually literally haven't picked a wrist spinner. There is not one.
Right.
They also don't really have any batters that you say particularly thrive against spinners. Maharaj, I mean, look, I don't want to do down Maharaj. Maharaj is a good spin bowler, but you probably, bearing in mind where you're playing, could have shot for some home advantage here and put together a much better team than the one they have. Max, actually looking at their spin matchups, they are all pretty bad, with the exception maybe of Klaassen and possibly de Kock against certain types of spin. Otherwise, it's a whole lot of like red for bad, red for danger in the data pack. And then away from home, I think with the pace bowling, I don't think that they're going to be particularly good at picking up wickets in the power play. And I think in this tournament, that will be a big factor. There's a lot of good pace playing teams, and there's a fair number of pitches. It's possible for your team to get destroyed, I think, if you don't pick up wickets early. And you have to bowl a lot of pace, which they're going to have to do. So I don't love that either. Anyway, Durban, I think one of the worst teams. Your turn. Pick a team.
Okay, pick a team. Let's go with my boys in yellow. We'll have the Joburg Super Kings, obviously the sister franchise of Chennai Super Kings, who, as we all know, I belovedly support in the IPL. They are quite badly hurt by the fact that Harry Brooks pulled out. So the direct replacement for them is Lewis Deploy, who is substantially less good. Although he's quite good in the blast, but it's not Harry Brook, is it? So that's a bit of an issue from their point of view. And for me, really, they've got a okay batting contingent. It's largely homegrown batting contingent, but it's just not. It's not explosive enough. Basically, is the issue. You've got Faf opening. You got Yanama Malan, Reza Hendricks, Carl Verena, Lewis Deploy, and then Donovan Ferreira, who I mentioned mentioned earlier, if you're listening on the podcast, or if you're watching on YouTube, the other video we did about questions and shit. But Donovan Ferreira, who is a finisher in the mold of Stubbs and Brevis, could be box office. He would be the one for me that you want to look out for in this side. He'll be, but I think just going to be a little too much, I think, on his shoulders to try and get them into a decent position. That said, Romario Shepherd's also there, so there's a chance that they can catch up. But I think they're just going to be a little pedestrian with the bat, sort of a classic kind of keep the upper to 160 and chase it kind of side, which won't be benefiting from bonus points as discussed. The question is, I suppose, if they do put up 160 odd, can they defend that? And I reckon potentially yes. They've got Theekshana, who's classically miserly in the power play with the ball. Alzari Joseph, dangerous. Lazard Williams, who's got international quality, and Gerald Kurtzer, who's young and quite exciting fast bowler. And then they'll have a rotation of options basically with the all-rounder. It'll be Romario Shepherd or Lewis Gregory or George Garton, probably Romario Shepherd. Could be the other two. So I mean, they've got something. I think they'll win games, but I think they'll just get outpowered by some of the other teams. So I reckon sort of third or fourth for them. That's what I reckon.
Yeah, I think that's they have a shot. They've got a bit of a problem in that they've got loads of right-handed batters.
Yes,
everyone is a right-handed batter.
Deploy the only left-hander. So from that point of view, could have been even worse if Harry Brook were there.
And none of them are sort of the great players of spin from a right-handed batter point of view. And this league's actually got quite a number of left-arm spinners in. So overseas-wise, a couple of wrist spinners as well, a couple of pretty good wrist spinners. Could be a problem there. Over 10 matches, you never know how that will go. Either teams will figure it out and kill them for it, or
it'll take them too long.
Or they'll find out, or they'll come up with a way of sort of solving the problem. But good summary. Who should I go with now?
Well, actually, so one more thing. Of course, we have to do
Okay.
it. We have to do a little facts, didn't we? Joburg,
Okay, go for it. Yeah.
just like Durban, very close to very close. No, it's close to Pretoria. But Joburg, not good for wine either. Being in
No.
the Northern Cape, so not a lot of wine action going on over there. So I've also turned to food. And apparently, a staple side dish for any Johannesburg dinner is chakalaka, which is a mixture of sautéed beans, carrots, peppers, tomatoes, and garlic, sort of Indian style-ish, like spiced side vegetable dish. But mostly I put it in there because it's fun to say, isn't it? Chakalaka.
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 Yeah. They should have been the Joburg Chakalakas. I think that would have been a really good name.
Chakalaka Super Kings.
Would it? Yeah. Well, yeah. Chakalaka. Maybe we'll start calling them Chakalaka Super Kings. We're going to talk now about Paarl.
Okay.
Paarl is a wine producing region. In fact, it's one of the best wine producing regions in South Africa. If you go to Cape Town, go inland a little bit, what's top right on the map, Max? Northeast. Go north. This is where you find Paarl, up into Table Mountain. I don't know what those mountains are called. Table Mountain Mountains. Is that what they're called?
Probably not.
No, we're cricket experts, not fucking geography experts, okay? Anyway, you go there and you get these like mountains that have the perfect environment for growing some of these some beautiful grapes. I'm gonna recommend Shiraz from the area.
Okay.
I think Max. That would be my suggestion. I think you get this nice combination of the mountain air, which acts as a coolant, but also the hot sun, and that leads to really nice, ripey, big reds, which you can enjoy.
Yeah.
Whilst you watch the Paarl Royals. Yeah. This is a little bit difficult for me because all my notes say Pretoria. I mixed up when I was making the team notes, Paarl and Pretoria. So I did think Paarl Capitals was a strange name. We're talking about the Royals. They were in action today. They're kind of a weird team. They're actually not dissimilar to recent Rajasthan Royals, or maybe Rajasthan Royals from before the last season when they got their act together a little bit. They've got some very good players, and then some guys that are kind of a little bit past it, or they seem to overvalue, and you're not really sure why. They've also been hit by an injury to Obed McCoy, who I think would have been a pretty good addition in this tournament, but he sadly will not be playing. Replaced by Ramon Simmons, which is a good name, the emerging player from the CPL this year. Stars wise, they've got Butler, they've got Miller, they've got Shamsi. They're all players that are worth a watch. And then they've got like Jason Roy and Owen Morgan. I don't really understand why. This is what I mean. I don't really understand
because they were really good 5 years ago.
Why they're there. And a couple of kind of I don't be too harsh, but I'd say kind of make-weighty bowlers or make-weighty players. Corbin Bosch. I don't really know if I see anything there that makes me understand why you'd want him as like a number 7.
Yeah.
But he's going to be versus some of the other teams in this league. Not Dane Villas as well. Not a bad player. Actually, I saw him make a really good 100 against Sussex for last year, but more of a 50 over player.
But they not go for Peflaquio instead?
I guess they could
maybe.
As a number 7 instead of Corbin Bosch. Yeah, I think that is a possibility.
Neither's brilliant though, is it? Let's be honest.
Well, exactly. I think that's what I'm getting at. Neither is brilliant. I think they're going to be quite fun to watch though. Any team with Butler in is pretty good. I think Paarl's a fair way above sea level, which also means that the ball will go a long
faster.
Way. Yeah, the ball will go far in that high altitude. He hit 36 sixes last year. Killer Miller hit 25 or so. So there's definitely the possibility that they'll take apart a few teams. There's going to be quite a lot of pace floating around in this league. And I think there'll be a few innings where they really get to feast. Today they were taken down by Mumbai, but shit's going to happen. I think that's going to happen to a
It's
few
going to
of the
happen to a
teams.
lot of teams.
On the flip side, and we actually saw a really good example of this today, I don't think their pace attack is really going to be up to it. Lungi and Gidi is their death bowler. Or they're projected that their main death bowler. I'm not sure. It's a big ask for Ramon Simmons to come over and replace Oben McCoy, Corbin, Bosch, Pefler, whichever one you want to use. Yeah, you know what I mean? So I project that they will probably miss the playoffs. Max, we've got 8 minutes to wrap this up. Pick a team.
Yep. Right. Okay. Let's go with Sunrisers East Cape. Sunrisers East Cape. Brian Lara has not had his chance to work his magic on the South African version of Sunrisers. Their auction strategy is akin to last year's Sunrisers, where they sat at a table and looked at Wikipedia. Their overseas contingent is so average, it hurts. Rather than attempt to sign some actual internationally quality T20 players, they've basically watched a couple of games of the 100. So they've ended up with Adam Rossington, Jordan Cox, Tom Abel, Roelof van der Merwe, Mason Crane, Bryden Carson, James Fuller. I mean, they're all decent. Weird. They're all decent county players, but like what? I mean,
you look at some of the overseas players in this league, and you really have to fucking.
I'm so confused about how that's happened. So confused as to what's happened here. Like, it just makes no sense whatsoever. I mean, they've got. I mean, in terms of like the guys they've got from South Africa, they've got Marco Jansen, they've got Aidan Markram, they've got Tristan Stubbs, and they've got John Smuts, who I mean is called John Smuts and is therefore a hero.
Yeah.
But in actually provides some quite useful darts and defensive left arm spin. So I mean, they've got a reasonable core there, but they've just gone and bought, like, they've got overseas players who basically are as good as their homegrown contingent. So it's just nonsense. I mean, the one thing I would say about their batting is that they actually cover all areas reasonably well. They hit pace quite well, and they hit wrist spin quite well, and they hit off spin quite well. So that's nice. But none of them are at a good enough level, apart from, someone like Stubbs and Markram, who again are the homegrown players, to take them very far. So I'm not bullish about their chances at all, and I think they will be coming a Sunrisers-y last.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to review where I said. So I said Paarl Royals wouldn't have much of a chance. I think they've got more of a chance than Sunrisers, and they've got more of a chance than the Super Giants. So they'll be in that third bracket. And I think 3 teams make the playoffs. So
yeah, no wine in the Eastern Cape either.
Yeah.
Late frosts, so a bit risky for wine. They've got elephants and lions though. So that's cool.
Well, they're good, aren't they?
Yeah. Right.
Cool.
2 to go.
Right. My 2 to go. We're going to do the Mumbai Indians, Cape Town. The Mict. This is a fucking stupid name. Anyway, Cape Town. Max, you've got Table Mountain, you've got Braai's. It's the braai capital of South Africa, I'm led to believe. Yeah. But most importantly, it's the gateway to the shit ton of wine that exists in the Cape region. Now we could hear Max talk about grapefruity Sauvignon Blanc. The sort of stuff that would knock the Kiwis off their perch. Or we could again talk about Shiraz. If you go north of Cape Town,
right,
pretty good Shiraz there. Yeah. We're going to talk about South Africa's signature varietal here, Pinotage, a cross between Pinot Noir and Sanso. It doesn't have a great reputation across the world, but actually, I think this is a proper big boy red wine. It's coming back into fashion. People who like their wine and are young. This is a trendy wine. Max, I want you to picture yourself after a hard day's wicket keeping. You've got a couple of cold ones, obviously, to loosen up. Someone's got the braai going, nice red meat, cooking away. Probably a good marinade or a rub. Your suit will be hydrated. It's time to chow down. This is the perfect wine for this scenario. Dark fruit, sweet tobacco, smoky tannins. The business. Make sure you air it though. Go out. People listening, go out, buy yourself some Pinotage, but give it a couple of hours. Speaking of the cricket team, they are shit hot. This is the 4 overseas players they played. They can play. I Did they even bother playing Liam Livingston today?
No.
They didn't even bother playing him. I mean, there's a few injuries there, so maybe they did. Yeah, that's going on. They played Ollie Stone instead, didn't they?
Yeah.
But Archer, Stone, Rashid Khan, Odean Smith, Sam Curran, Liam Livingston. They're the overseas players they've got to pick from, and Waka Salam Kail as well.
He's also
I doubt
there.
we'll be seeing. Yeah, I don't think we'll be seeing much of that. No, like seriously, if they have a game with Livingston, Curran, Archer, and Rashid Khan, that would be the best 4 overseas players in any league in the world. Like,
Yes.
Archer and Rashid
with
Khan
you.
are probably the best pace bowler and probably the best wrist spinner in the world. Both can bat as well. Archer obviously coming off an injury layup. Yeah, sure. Curran, recently the best death bowler in the world.
Yeah, and probably the most versatile player going.
Yeah, Livingston may be the best hitter or one of the best hitters in the world. It's just stupid. It is stupid. Backing them up, you've got Rassie van der Dusen, Rabada, Daryl Brevis, George Linder, Marco's brother, Dwan Janssen, who I'm tipping as somebody to watch out for. And then like another couple, Ryan Rickleton's going to keep wicket. Not much to write home about there, but yeah, he's going to have a nice day out, isn't he? I think the only thing that might hold them back, a couple of availability issues. If you want to be really harsh, maybe spin matchups, especially the ball turning away. Nice. I don't know if he'll play that much, but not nice Odean Smith fact here. He's just missed every 5.6 balls against wrist spin in his T20 career. I think they're very clearly the favourites. I think they're just going to be fun to watch play, and we're going to see some pretty good cricket.
Well, they murdered.
Surprised they didn't win it.
Absolutely murdered Paarl Royals today, didn't they? And Jofra Archer took like 3 for 24 or something, didn't he? So great. Yeah. He's back. He's back. Good news.
Yeah.
Okay,
right, Max. We've got 2 minutes to do the last team.
Okay, the Pretoria Capitals, the sister of Delhi Capitals, obviously not Paarl Capitals, as we have confirmed now. They're one of the stronger looking teams on paper as well. Not quite up there with Cape Town MI, but they open up with Phil Salt and Will Jacks, the 2 monosyllabic Englishmen, followed by Riley Russo. So as top 3s go, that is decent. Pretty tasty, and it's got power play intent written all over it. So if teams don't get an early wicket against this lot, they could be in for some serious trouble. The downside for them is potentially the middle order. So, I mean, Cameron Delport and Marco Murray might be a bit light. Delport's played all around the world, so plenty of experience, but it might just not go far enough because they could be ending up in a position where they've got Wayne Parnell betting at 7, which is not what you want, really. But, 6 batters work for Rajasthan Royals in the IPL, so maybe it'll be fine. And bowling-wise, they're looking pretty good as well. You've got Parnell for the power play, Norkia, fast. Josh Little coming off the year of his life, and Adil Rashid with spin. And then sort of the local guys, they've got Dupavillon, who has had a reasonably good CPL and can keep things tight. So not bad. Main concern with the batting is potential weakness against off spin. So if teams work that out, might be an issue. But overall, I think they're good set for a playoff place. No wine in Pretoria either. But if you do go, don't have the sushi, because friend of the podcast, Tom Vaughan, he had a bad experience there. He was laid up for a week, couldn't move for about 3 days. And avoid warm rice in sushi is the moral of the story.
Yeah, and it's like the middle of the country. It's not nowhere near the sea. Anyway, that is the end of the cricket podcast. We're on the clock because of our Zoom fuck up. So thanks for listening, everyone. At the Cricket Pod on Twitter and Instagram, patreon.com/thecricketpod for bonus shit.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You're listening to the Cricket Podcast.